Hi, this is Rick Brandenburg for Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, and it's early December here, so in most places it's cooled off or gotten cold, and when that happens, insect activity often slows down. I got a fire ant mound here that's still pretty active simply because the last few days it's been in the 60s and 70s, but when it cools off again, it'll become basically dormant. But one thing that happens a lot, and I'm a little bit behind the curve on getting this information to you, but we'll remind you of it again next fall, is that when things cool off, insects like fire ants or like spiders and things like that have a tendency to move in where they're protected from the weather. So you'll see insects sometimes moving in bathrooms, moving in sheds, moving in maintenance facilities, moving into bathrooms, moving into control boxes, valve boxes, all kinds of things like that just to get protected from the weather. And really the best way to deal with this is not to deal with it after they've already invaded you, but to deal with it preventively. So with pests that move in the fall when it cools off and can sometimes be a problem indoors or in electrical boxes or things like that where you just don't want to have them, the best method is really to prevent that. And so before it really starts getting cool and these insects start looking for ways to stay a little bit warmer, and there's three ways that I recommend. One, yes, believe it or not, are urinal cakes. They seem to be very repellent to fire ants, to spiders, to things like that that get in these electrical boxes or get into to bathrooms or facilities like that. So urinal cakes are very repellent. The other one's mothballs. Mothballs can be very repellent to a lot of things, and sometimes these works on mammals and snakes and things like that as far as keeping them out of these things. And the third one are the no pest strips that you can find in a lot of hardware stores where they simply have the yellow plastic strip that's got a compound called dichlorvus or vapona, which is very, very repellent, and you just take small pieces of it and you can put it in these areas and they'll be very repellent. So that's really the best way of doing it. A lot of these will last for quite a period of time, so before things really get cold, take advantage of these repellency of these products. Find areas where you typically see them once the weather turns cold, put them inside, seal them back up, and it'll probably reduce the likelihood of you getting any sort of infestation in those facilities. So urinal cakes, mothballs, or no pest strips with dichlorvus or vapona. All three are highly repellent and have a tendency to keep things out. Hope that helps. Look forward to talking with you again soon.